Well, Dave, what we're going to do tonight as we're waiting for the system to boot up is we're going to try and log on to one or maybe even a couple of bulletin board systems, local bulletin board systems here in the Rochester area, just to see how to log on, how to do some of the functions that are available with the bulletin board systems, and some of the options available with most of the terminal software available on the market today. Right now we're booting up a program called Backtalk, and while this isn't really a commercial for Backtalk, it's available through Antic Software. It has a lot of options available in its use that are available in almost any other terminal emulator software program. So, in order to get onto a system in the first place, of course, you're going to need a modem, and tonight we're using a Hayes Smart Modem 300, and it happens to be connected through a Atari 850 interface. Of course, the software knows how to talk to all that hardware, and as we type things, it'll automatically be sent out to the modem.
I notice you don't have a phone connected to your modem. I take it it's not necessary to need a phone, that you can plug your computer right into the modem and in turn plug your modem right into the phone line.
Well, that's right, Dave. The Smart Modem series and most of the modern modems don't require a phone actually to be connected to your computer system. Although it can't be seen from the screen, the telephone line itself has a plug-in on the wall, and then it plugs into the back of the modem. Now, as a matter of fact, you can't see the telephone because of the clutter down here in the basement, but there is a phone, and it's not directly connected to the smart modem.
I see.
Okay, so the software is booted up, and again, this could be any terminal emulator software that runs in your Atari. There are many available on the market. Chameleon, there's a Kermit terminal emulator program in the Antic Public Domain series. There's a modem available from the club library, and let's see, Syncom was one that was popular for a while. I know some folks in the group are using that. At any rate, this is a terminal emulator program, and what we're looking at here on the screen now is just the copyright notice. So, first thing to do to get on a bulletin board system is dial. We've got to dial the telephone line to connect. Now we're going to choose Tom Beluco's Apex 8-bit bulletin board for the first shot. And the command to do that for the Hayes Smart Modem series is AT-DT. All we're doing now is sending a command to the modem. And the AT means attention and DT means dial using touch tones. So we're going to dial. Tom's number for that bulletin board is 254-1325. And when I hit return, you'll hear the modem pick up the telephone. You'll hear the dial tone being sent back from the phone company, and then you'll hear us dial. So here it goes. And that's the typical sound you get when you dial Tom Beluco's bulletin board. So a quick return will hang everything up, and the modem now sent back to my computer a message saying no carrier, meaning it did not connect to another modem at the far end.
Well, this is interesting. You're actually communicating them with your modem, and I guess the reason they call it a smart modem is because you can send it commands and it can talk back to you.
That's exactly right. The smart modems actually have a microprocessor inside, and it's running a program internally that interprets your commands to the modem. As a matter of fact, it's so smart I can tell it to repeat the last thing I told it to do. Just an A/ will do that, and it's still busy. All right, well, since Tom Beluco's Apex 8-bit is busy, let's try another one on the list, another bulletin board system. There's one called Dark Design. We'll dial that by calling up a similar command. We'll dial 671-1753. Do it. That one's also busy. So we won't panic, we'll just continue dialing bulletin board systems until we get on one. AT-DT. Dave, would you read me the next one on the list, please?
Do you want one of these on the list, or do you want... Tom Beluco also has another telephone number for his Apex bulletin board.
For the STs?
For the STs.
Okay, let's try that one. What's his number?
I believe it's 458-2638.
Okay, dial it. Still busy.
Busy too.
His bulletin board system is worth being on, which is why it makes it hard to get on. Okay, take another one off the list.
Okay, there's one called Design Unlimited, which is 964-3518.
Do it. Also, we should sell raffle tickets so that they could bet on which bulletin board system we're going to get on. ATDT, what's the next number?
338-2453.
2453. Sounds like we hit one. Okay. I don't know what that means.
Try hitting return.
Please press return. Okay, you heard me hit return a second ago. Now it's telling me to do it, so I'll just follow instructions. Enter your password or type new. Now, I'm not a member of this particular bulletin board, so I'm going to type new. And it brought back asterisks to my screen. Welcome to the Lakeside Manor BBS. We always have room for another guest. Why, thank you. You will be asked to answer a few questions before you get the main part of the BBS. When entering this info, please leave the correct information when you first log on. You won't have access to much, so don't judge the board on your first impression. You will be validated as soon as the sysop gets a chance, which will be very soon. Well, enjoy yourself, the Shadow. All right. Dave, you know, I do a lot of traveling around the world, as you and a lot of folks in the club know. And been through an awful lot of airports, and of course there's always a first time you're through an airport. And what I've found is that I've never been lost in an airport because all you have to do is read the signs. Whenever you're in a new place and you're able to read the signs and you follow the instructions, you're never going to be lost. So I'm going to do the same thing with any bulletin board system I'm on. Read what it's asking me and follow the instructions. It's asking me my full name, so I'm going to give it exactly what it's asking for. And it's asking me my phone number, and I'm going to do it in the same format that it's asking. So I'll put in a parentheses, 716, it wants to see a hyphen, 254, another hyphen, 2906, and a close parentheses. Okay, it took that as an error, so maybe it doesn't want to see the parentheses. If you make some kind of input that the far computer can't deal with, it will ask you to repeat the information. Okay, now it takes it. So it doesn't want to see the parentheses here. Enter a password. Okay, now everybody who views this tape is going to know my password, so I'll make it something easy. And it returns all the information and asks me if everything's right. So I'll review my name, my phone number, and the password that I've assigned for myself on this bulletin board. Is this info right? I'm going to type Y for yes. Now it's searching apparently for some disk space to put me in a database as a welcome user. Welcome to the Lakeside Manor. Your sysop, the Shadow. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Atari files only, please. Press a key. What do you suppose I should do here, Dave?
Well, it seems to me that the return key is probably the one to press.
Okay.
And
it's saying press a key. I think any key will do, probably.
any key will do.
Yeah, could be return. I wouldn't hit the brake here.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Not hit the brake.
I wouldn't think so.
Escape will even probably work, really. But it says press A key. I'm going to make it the space bar because it's easy to reach for. Enjoy your stay, Chris Reich. Your last visit was 4/7/87. Today you were on for 0 minutes. Time left today 30 minutes. You have a level of 0. The last guest was Roy Lawrenson.
I noticed that there's a lot of preliminary information when you first get on a bulletin board. that you have to go through and read and enter in. Is that typical of most bulletin boards?
Absolutely. The bulletin board, again, the user at the bulletin board or the sysop of the bulletin board has set this equipment up so that you could use it and enjoy it. And he wants to be able to give you all the information that you're going to need to be able to get the maximum enjoyment out of his bulletin board system. So if we had been smart here, what we'd have done is try to copy this part of this file and ultimately make a printout of it. In fact, I think that'd be the right thing to do just about now.
This is the capture feature that I believe you mentioned earlier, where you can actually capture the information that's on the screen and send it to the printer?
Right. Here's what's actually meant by a capture. If, let's say I want to make this menu come back to me, let's digress for just a moment. I want to call up help. If you look on the menu on the left side, on the right side, the fourth item down is press H for help. Should repeat. No.
It looks like it's giving detailed information.
This is far more detailed information, so let's just run this for a while. Let's let it run its course anyway. What we're actually getting, I'm sure, is a more detailed explanation of each of the items in the menu we just looked at.
I see.
Any bulletin board system will have some help feature available to it so that any user can go in and look at all the commands that are available. Now again, what I really want to do here is get this to come out on a printout so that anytime in the future when I log onto this system, I'll be able to refer to my printout and not continue to call up the help file. As you can see at 300 baud, it's going to take a while. If I need to access the help file every time I want to do a command, it's going to be a long time before I get it much done on this particular bulletin board.
And since we only have 30 minutes, it would be to our advantage to
two speeds at which to communicate. 1200 baud would allow information to be transferred at 4 times the rate of 300 baud.
I see.
So, the file came through again. What I'm going to do now is hit my Option key to turn off my buffer, and I'm going to press Select to get a little menu. Now what I'm doing again is backtalk functions. These are functions available in backtalk, and I'm not presently talking to the bulletin board. As a matter of fact, when I came up with the menu that you just saw me come up with, look up in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see a prompt that says X off. X off is a command sent to the bulletin board to say, don't send me any more characters because I can't listen to you right now.
That's because you're using the backtalk menu to work with at the moment.
Well, that's what's preventing me from listening to anything coming in on the modem. X on, X off is a standardized protocol. In many bulletin board systems, you must manually, well, I should say, in many terminal emulator software packages, you must manually type Control S to stop and Control Q to continue.
I see. So the Control S and Control Q would simulate the X on, X off.
Well, it's more than a simulation. That really is what it is. Actually, what backtalk has done for me is automatically send the Control S to stop.
I see.
So, and the fact that it shows that to me on the screen tells me that. All right. What I want to do now in backtalk is go to save what's in my buffer. Hit return, and it asks me, what's the destination? I want this to go to a printer. I could send it to a cassette, to a disk file. I could even conceivably send it to another RS-232 port if I had something out there that could use it. But I'm going to send it to the printer, so I'll type P: as my destination, and you'll be able to hear everything come out the printer. It has done a form feed.
And it's doing a lot.
And now you're hearing everything print out. Now, What's important to remember is as long as this printer is running, I cannot talk to the modem. I cannot talk to the bulletin board. So this is why normally you would send this to a disk file, because the transfer then would be very quick to get to the disk file, and then later, after I've logged off the bulletin board, I would print it to the printer directly from the disk file, and I just use a DOS copy function to do. So let's tear off the printout, and we'll have our help menu in front of us so that you might be able to help me get through the bulletin board system. I'll hit option to, select to turn off my menu, and then when I hit select, I automatically, or I should say backtalk, automatically told the bulletin board to continue sending me information. So I see that menu I saw again before.
Well, there certainly are a lot of functions to choose from.
Sure. Well, the top item on the right-hand side is bulletin. Let's see what bulletins may exist. Let's type B. Okay, we just have kind of an editorial comment from the sysop.
So there's only one bulletin.
At the moment, in this bulletin board system, right?
I see. And these are usually put on by the system operator? Or can anyone leave a bulletin?
That really depends on the bulletin board in question. This particular one, apparently only the sysop can upload that bulletin.
I see.
Let's see. Check for mail. Check out. On the left-hand column, the fourth item down says G check out. I don't know what that is, but let's try it. I'm going to type G.
Well,
that means goodbye.
Yes, I see here on our printed list it says this lets you log off.
Okay, we don't want to log off, but it was friendly enough to ask me, are you sure I want to do that? So I'll say no, I don't want to do that at all, really. I made a mistake. Again, I was able to recover from a mistake because I was willing to read the questions that the bulletin board is asking me and to answer them properly. Okay, you have the help file in front of you, so why don't you suggest something else we can try?
Well, it says that we can download files. Are these programs that are on the bulletin board that we could transfer to our computer and use at a later time?
Yes, in general, that's what the file menu will be. How do we get a listing of the files?
Well, F says that the F command, this shows all the files available for downloading.
Okay, so we'll type F. Access is denied because I logged on as a new user.
I see. So not a new user does not necessarily have access to those files.
Right. It's going to take a day or so before the sysop allows my access to trigger his bulletin board software to allow me to pick up files from his bulletin board. If I had logged on using my real password and not as a new user, I would probably be able to get a file.
I see. Well, let's see. There's E will let us enter a message in the message base.
Okay. Let's access to that room is denied. Okay. These are all fair things. The sysop is protecting his bulletin board by denying certain functions to new users.
I see.
And that prevents what they call the hackers from getting in and creating general annoyance and harassment on bulletin board systems. So it's really to protect him and all the other users as well.
So this way he knows who's leaving what messages and in what files on his system.
Sure, sure. Actually, he's inviting us in to use his equipment as a guest in many respects. And we're expected to respect his rights to allow him to establish that equipment to ask other users in.
Mm-hmm. Well, M should let us leave a message to the system operator.
Okay.
And
I always like to leave a little thank you message to the sysop when I can. So I'm just going to type hit return at the end of my line. It asks me for the second line of text.
So as a matter of etiquette, we will leave a little thank you note expressing our appreciation for having access to this bulletin board.
Alright, it's asking me for a fourth line of text, and if you look at the screen, the message editor commands are given, and it shows a /A will abort, meaning stop doing this. So I'll hit my /A, aborted, and we should probably log off. I'm sure our time limit is about up.
Okay, but we didn't actually save our message by aborting, is that true?
Right, all we've done is aborted the function that allows us to send a message to the sysop.
Okay.
The message has not been aborted. The message has actually been saved.
Okay.
So, let's log off. It's asking me again, check out, are you sure? This time I'm sure. And I get a friendly message from the shadow. Bit of character graphics. I don't know what it's going to be, do you?
I have no idea. Maybe it's a shadow.
Okay. And then he hung up, and it triggered our modem to hang up the telephone line, so now we can make another call or receive a call.
I see.
So, things to remember when you're logging into a system is that help is always available. Type a question mark or type H. Capture the help file and send it to your printer so that you have a reference in front of you. And above all, don't panic. If you make a mistake, there's got to be a way to recover from your error. So try what you think is logical to recover from your error. Type return when things don't seem to be happening on the bulletin board. In other words, if you're not getting a response from a bulletin board system, do nothing other than type return. This is generally a trigger to the bulletin board system to do something for you, to tell you what to do next. Use the menus and follow instructions. And there should be no reason for anybody to panic once they're on any bulletin board system.
I see. Well, I've noticed we were on this bulletin board for about 15 minutes, so I take it we could spend a great deal of time calling and playing around with bulletin boards.
A great deal of fun, and a lot of people use it a great deal to send files back and forth. It's the way they collect programs in the public domain. And I guess I'd just like to reiterate that this equipment is being established as a bulletin board system by someone so that we can use it, and we are really invited guests when we log on to a bulletin board system, and we should exercise the courtesy that we would just as if he had asked us to come into his living room.
I see. Should we try another one, or? Okay.
Well, let's do this. Let's offer the next session to the next new user.
Okay, sounds very good.
So anyone watching this tape who hasn't tried to log on to a bulletin board system yet, give it a try, and I'm sure they'll enjoy it.